Kilowatt 8, Victor, India, November, portable in Michigan.
Kilowatt 8 station, go ahead.
This is Kilo 8, Victor, India, November, portable. The name here is Kevin, and I'm presently in Macomb County, Harrison Township, on Lake St. Clair, Michigan, about 100 feet off the water, with an MFJ 17-foot, 5-inch portable antenna, telescopic whip. And I also have a Wolf River loading coil, and the whole antenna system is attached to a 8-foot speaker stand. And I've got 4 elevated radials. The wires are coming down towards the ground, and on some plastic tent stakes about 2 feet off the ground with a 100-watt ICOM 7300. QSL?
Oh, Roger, Roger. Now, are you in the water, on the water, or how? You're on a lake?
In the water, or how? You're on a lake? Yeah, I'm about 100 feet off the lake, on Lake St. Clair, if you know where that's at. It's about 25 miles northeast of Detroit, Michigan. Over.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Well, let me tell you about your 7300. I take it you're running the stock hand mic. Is that a Roger?
The stock hand mic. Is that a Roger? That's a Roger. I'm running the stock hand mic right now, and I just cranked up the treble. Am I getting too much tone in there? Over.
No, beautiful. Sounds great. Sounds great. And you are about 2/3 probably on your ALC. Is that a Roger? Take a look and see.
Is that a Roger? Take a look and see. Let's just stand by. Yes, I am actually just peeking the red at the top of the red line there. Over.
Roger. Now, I would pull it back just a skosh. What's your current mic level?
Current mic level. Well, I've got the mic level at 50, I believe. I actually could knock it down a little bit. Let me pull out some of the gain off of this here right now.
Yeah, I'd pull that down to about maybe 45, because your dynamic range looks to be, when we first started talking, about 2.5 dB dynamic range, and probably ideal, very likely would be around a 3. So with a 45 mic level, that should do great. Roger. One other aspect, though, you should be running that compressor at about a 3. Running your compressor at only about a 3, but that helps a great deal. You don't really hear it working, but it does contribute to the fatness of the signal. Roger.
Contribute to the fatness of the signal. Roger. A couple guys that I just got this radio, so I'm not real familiar with it. And a couple guys had me set it up at 45 before, and then someone else told me that it wasn't. So I really. I really didn't know what to set it at, but you're the second person that's told me 45, so is that much better? Over?
Roger. Well, it just takes the up against the wall sound. That 7300 has a stonewall limiter. So what it does, it tries to keep you, takes care of you, even though you pump up the volume. When you get fatter, but you do kind of develop, it's not quite as pleasant as when you're just doing, between 1/2 and 2/3, So you can run it up there, but it's a good idea to stay out of the red, Roger.
If you stay out of the red, Roger. Yeah, Roger. Is the bass too much, or I have it at 50? Up to about 4 there. Over.
Well, I've been copying you on the Raleigh SDR. Come back. I've got a good copy on my local antenna. Come back and tell me about your antenna system.
Okay, the antenna is an MFJ 1969 or 79, and it's 17 foot, 5 inches, telescopic, and I've got it Wolf River loading coil on the antenna, and I've also got that clamped to a 8-foot speaker stand, and I have 4 tuned radials that are about 2 feet off the ground into some plastic tent stakes. How's that sound? Over.
Oh, you got it. That's excellent. That is excellent. I'd get the Gorilla Tape and tape everything down just like it is, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. That's great. The name here is Kevin. K8VIN is the call sign. Kilo Echo Victor India November is the name. And what is your name presently, and where are you located? What's your QTH? Over.
The call is KC9VKV, and this is the Qso-Vlog network, and we're located physically around Louisville. We're just across the Ohio River from Louisville. We're actually in Indiana, but we're about 3 miles from downtown Louisville. Roger?
Roger that. Well, you're about 20 over there. Your sound is fantastic. Your audio is perfect. Armchair copy. And I'm glad my antenna's making it that way. I'll be in Michigan for a while. I actually used to live here, but I live in Florida right now, land of lakes, and visiting relatives. And we'll see what goes on here. This has been an interesting thing. I'm so glad that you told me what I needed here, because you sound like you're very intelligent and know this radio quite well. Over.
Roger, we've done probably about 150 setups on 7300s, Roger.
Yeah, yes, Roger. That's fantastic too, because I almost didn't buy this radio. I was going to buy that Yaesu 991 there, and a friend of mine talked me into getting this. I have another Yaesu radio also. And I figured, I'm going to give ICOM a try, and I am not disappointed. I love this radio. I don't know if I could ever go to a different radio with. I love the SDR on here and the band scope and everything. It's just fantastic. Over.
Oh, Roger, yes, it is the radio of the century. It definitely is the radio of the century. Just so many things right about that radio. The only competition it might have would be the ICOM 7610. And the 7610 has a neat little item called Drive, and Drive can take your dynamic range right on up to about a half a dB if you wanted to push it that far. But normally, you would run it, take it on up to about a dB and a half, and that's just, oh man, that's just such a fat audio signal, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. I can't even believe that they got this mic sounding so good with this radio. Everybody's telling me that this is like, you don't need to buy another microphone because it matches the radio quite well. Other than a headset mic or something, I'm a fairly new ham. I haven't been around very long. So, I'm getting used to new things. I actually have another microphone sitting here that has built-in EQ, and I think it has a parametric and a equalizer graphic EQ in it. But I haven't even hooked it up there. It's still sitting brand new in the box there. Over.
Oh, Roger. Well, you're going to have to go a long way to beat that hand mic. That is a condenser hand mic, and ICOM used a lot of good thinking when they put that mic with that radio, because it really just makes that radio shine. And like I say, the only thing better than that would be if you got a condenser desk mic. If you replace that condenser hand mic with a condenser desk mic. If you replace it just with a regular desk mic, dynamic desk mic, you're going to have to crank in hard on the top EQ to even start to come out where you are now, just naturally with the hand mic, that condenser hand mic. Roger?
Roger? Yeah, Roger. I think the one that I have, a friend of mine actually gave it to me. He never opened the thing. It's a MFJ model, I can't remember, 299 maybe, and I'm pretty sure it has an Electret condenser mic inside of it, so it wouldn't even be worth the while of using it. I do know that the condenser would be well worth the effort to add to this radio. I'm a musician, so I know that there would be some advantages with that there. Over.
Roger. Well, the hand mic that you're on is a condenser hand mic. What I'm saying is that most desk mics are dynamic. So if you were to put just a regular desk mic on your radio to replace that condenser hand mic, you would have to do a lot of EQing to try to make up the difference. Now, if the desk mic that you have is already a condenser mic, that would be a good replacement for the hand mic if you needed to replace it. Myself, I think I would just be inclined to run with a hand mic, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, I have no problems with it, and everybody's been telling me how well this sounds with this hand mic, so I think I'm just going to stick with this thing right now. K8VIN, returning. You know, did you tell me your name? I'm sorry, my memory is not that great. Over.
Roger, the name here is Jim Juliet India Mike. Roger?
Roger. Okay, Jim, yeah. Roger that. Well, I appreciate the help here, and you're just doing a fine job. Your signal. How long have you been in amateur radio? Over.
Probably about 7 years. Somewhere around 7 years. I know I spent, and usually it works out in groups of 2 years. When I first became a ham radio operator, I was using 10 meters. I was on 10 meters for about 2 years. And it just happened to be that that was the time when 10 meters was just like banging hard every day. You know, I was talking to California every day. I had a buddy on that 28400, which is the official call frequency for 10 meters, and so he usually monitored that, and so the first call I would do would be on that frequency, and he would come back at about a 10 or 15 over from San Diego, and it was like I had a direct line to his house. It was just really amazing. And so I was about 2 years on that, and then I got into UHF, VHF radios and building Yagi antennas for that, and that was another 2 years there, and then then went into HF. Roger?
Roger? Yeah, Roger. Sounds like you know your stuff, though. I'll tell you, I back home in Land O'Lakes, Florida, the antenna, I live in an HOA, so it's pretty hard for me to get a decent antenna, but I've tried a couple loops, and I made a loop out of some copper tubing, and something that I could sneak in there. But actually, this little portable vertical, I'm going to see if I can sneak this in on the back corner of my lot there. Maybe I'll be able to get away with it because it's hardly noticeable. It's such a thin little antenna. To see how well this works when I get back home. I bought this while I was up here in Michigan. Over.
Oh, Roger that. Well, one of the antennas that I built for 10 meters was a full wave loop antenna, vertically polarized, and on a motor driven, and it was a full wave loop, 36 feet on a PVC frame, which was a 10 foot on the horizontal and 8 foot on the vertical, and then I used RG8 as an element around the PVC tubing, and it was driven from the top, which was a little unusual, and as near as I could figure, it didn't fade a lot, and as near as I can figure, it was becoming horizontally and vertically polarized simultaneously. In other words, the loop itself was vertical, and you could rotate it around, but just the way it was driven from the top in the middle, it did have some good horizontal and vertical aspects to it simultaneously. So even when there was a fade, it never faded because it was just fading from horizontal to vertical, and the antenna was that already.
Ready. So that sounds like a very good setup that you had. Well, were you were using just a standard rotor on that, or and what was it made out of? Over.
Yeah, it was just a small little antenna rotor, and it's still there. I still use it if there would ever be any activity on 10. 10 is kind of like the big wasteland most of the time now. It's like watching paint dry. But yeah, it was on a PVC, 3/4-inch PVC frame. And again, it was a rectangular and 8 foot on the vertical and 10 foot on the horizontal. So, and then the RG8 was tie-tacked around the frame. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, Roger. That sounds like an interesting antenna there. Yeah, 10 meters. I tried 10 meters, and I turned it on. I couldn't even see anything going on 10 meters. When I did try to make a contact on 10 meters, I set the antenna, this portable, up for 10 meters. There was nothing there, over.
Oh, that's right. If you want to talk every day, you're going to be using 40, and if you want to talk at night, you'll probably be using 80. But you know, 40 and 80 are the workhorses at this point. Roger.
Roger. Yeah, Roger. That's this particular antenna that I have. I can get 80 on it with the coil that's on there, 40 and 20, and actually, if I short the coil out completely, I can use it on. Well, it's resonant on 20 meters without the coil, so pretty much I just short that coil out, and then if I lower the antenna, I can get some other bands on there also, over.
Oh, roger that, Kevin. Well, listen, you're sounding great, man. Just if you can, check in with us next Friday and let me know how you've been doing and what the comments you've been getting. Roger? Roger.
Yes, Jim, I surely will do that. About what time do you get on here?
We start at 3:30 Eastern Daylight Time and go till 5 Eastern Daylight Time and record the whole piece. So then we usually within the next couple of days upload it to YouTube, and you can get it by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. That will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll find a Qso entitled My Group Aircheck 41919. My Group Aircheck 41919. Roger?
Roger? Yeah, roger that. I surely will do that then. Okay, well, you have a fantastic weekend and a great day. Thank you for all the help that you've given me. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I just got this radio, and I'm really not all that familiar with everything. But that's fantastic that I've been able to talk to someone that knows the radios quite so well. So we'll hope to see you again. This is K8VIN, and I'll turn it back to you for your final there. Over.
Roger. Give me your call phonetically, please, sir.
Yes, sir. This is Victor, or excuse me, Kilowatt 8 Victor India November. K8VIN. It's Kilowatt 8 Victor India November. And the name here is Kevin, Kilo Echo Victor India November.
Roger, roger. Thank you, sir. We'll say threes to you, and you have a good afternoon, good weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. This is KC9VKV, and you're listening to the Qso-Vlog network. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording between now and 5, and listening for you. KC9VKV.